Good evening, good peoples. It is Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation. I think I got some really good news on Cony. Let's hope so. So I wanted to get this out on the same day. There's only 1 day trading left on Cony for its 28-day collection of monies to then pay us out in declaration next week. So you guys, not to repeat, you all know I was disappointed in Pulte and voting with the feet, but Cony or with Pulte, and Cony is my largest holding. So I'm sort of giving Yieldmax another chance here to rectify themselves and do the right thing. And monetarily, it looks like they're able to do that. Will they do it? That's the big question. But the good news is there's plenty of money there now. So let me go through. Unlike people see that we were sort of capped and then we ran up further. And then I believe in the after hours, we were up even more. But we're positioned to handle that because number one, they roll some more. Let's just get into the summary of what happened in the most simplest ways. And then I'll give you a little bit deeper dive because I've got a lot of numbers. All right. So what happened? Well, coin was up 3.15 to 410.75. Cony matched, well, 69, call it 70%. And that's about what you're going to, that's a good move when this is only 3%. As this gets up to 5 and 6 and 7 in a day, you're lucky to get 50 or 55. And a real bad, like a 15% move, you're probably going to get anywhere from a third to 40%, right? 33 to 40. That's why, everybody gets tired of hearing it, but everybody says you can't, the underlying outperform. But while we were positioned with a couple of calls that weren't in a very good situation, our synthetic bailed us out. Okay. So we had calls up here in the neighborhood of, let me get something else and move it back over here. Sorry, that's not what I want to show you guys. That's the holdings that I get everything from and then do all the math machinations to get where we are and keep running totals. That's the key. If you don't have running totals, you don't really know where we are month to date and what we're earning and how much cash is in the door. All right. So basically, we still have a 405 position here with, so this should be copied like this. And then we have a 410 and we have a 415. So just other than all the numbers are correct, the labels over here aren't. And we go 415, 420, 440. And as we move into those higher ones, they've already rolled up. Okay. 440, 445, and 450. So I'm not going to change them all over here, but they go 405, 410, 415, 420, then they go 440, 445, and 450. I've got the math over here and what the value is now and how many of these are still good. Let me just check the 415. Again, my labels aren't perfect, but the math is there. Trust me on that. Okay, let's get in. So they did that. So why are we talking? Why am I talking about this and keep going on Coney? Because we're right at the end, guys. We got one more trading day. They've rolled half of the 718 weekly calls into 725. So we're already out. A little bit of the damage happened. And let me review that um, in this right here. This sort of tells you everything. This is exactly what happened yesterday from the weekly standpoint. So on 716, we had a $143 million loss that represented 98 cents. But remember, we had net of this like $1.27 or something. So we had like $2 and something, and month to date, right? 26 of the 28-day accounting cycle. Now we're 27 of the 28-day accounting cycle. And yeah, we lost a little when we ran up, and we ran by the 397, we ran by the 400. So those took us down to $1.12 from 98. So now we sustained, like 19 million more in the weeklies. So this used to be 143, it's now 162. But guess what happened? The share count went down, and they sold a little bit, and then they closed the rest of the 360s, because yesterday we had 360 active profits and we had 390 active profits. So they closed out the 360s, and rightfully so. I said all this. If we have a big move, the good news is we're going to lose on our weeklies, but we're more than going to make up on our synthetic. And that's exactly what happened. And I said, but they need to close out the lower strike price. You go back and watch my video if you don't think it's exactly what I said. And that's exactly what they did. So they're doing the right things and collecting the money to pay us. And I just want to tell you that if they don't pay us reasonably, I'm done, period, with Yieldmax. I'm moving every single thing I own there out, including Ulti. I don't care. Can't trust them. Okay. But I think that for whatever reason, Pulte's Pulte, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt in Coney, and that's what I'm reporting to you. And then I'll vote with my feet if they don't. But I don't see any reason. I don't see it from a monetary standpoint. Okay. They're continuing to go up. So here's the scenario. With these 360s rolled, 360 strike price rolled with it had an 815. When you drag these down, you keep getting 16 there. All right, so there's $2.97. This is accounting for actual cost. I'm only showing a 101 profit. I want to show you something. A lot of times when I show you profits over here, this is this is the difference in what they sold 63.55 for and bought back to puts for this 26,770 contract. That would yield 152. But when they bought them, there was a lopsided buy. They paid a lot more because they were already in the money some. So I've netted this out. There's no reason that it's not the actual money. So when you go back down here, that 152 only netted like 101 right here. So the share count, again, we went down like, I didn't tell you this, but I need to remind you. It went down 2.45, 1.68. I mean, on a fund that didn't have many shares, that could have been 50% of their shares. But with Coney, it's a very large assets under management, right? It's 1.5 billion, and so a big, couple million, 2.5 million is still just 1.65. But it is surprising when it's soaring. I don't know if people are looking at it and saying, hey, there's better use of my money. I see just the opposite. I see a $1 plus payout on a $10 stock that I was accumulating at $7 and $8 not long ago. So I'm very bullish on this because of the run up. Now, is that the only way to play it? No, but if you want income, it's a good way to play it. So let's see how they pay us. There's just no, somebody wrote in my comments, oh, Bruce, 419, maybe that was the after hours price on coin. Oh no, 65-cent payout. And if they didn't roll that 360 and continued to take the hit, but not only that, they rolled their selling short on half of their position into next week. So we can't lose in this accounting cycle, right? Even if it ran, but it still, even if this ran sorry, this is what I want to show you. Even if all these guys here, okay, that are now 725, so we're not really hurt. We're only hurt on the portion here that are 405, 410, 415. Right? All the rest of the stuff is out there. So the 405, the 410, the 415, and the 420. So there's really 4 months. Forget my labeling over here. There's 4 series of calls. And guess what? If it runs by those massively, the synthetic is positioned to make great money. So it's completely in the money on the 390. So just to recap that, here's what closed, right? I said 152, but the real net profit is what I'm showing. I could show you the sheet that tells me that if you care. I don't think you do, but I have that. I mean, I'm literally now on this at a detail level that is not escapable. I mean, this is the real accounting at a detail level completely for the month. All right. So what's open? The 390, 11,380. Whoops. There's more than that now, guys. Let me get this back up, what that count is. I didn't update it. So that count is 37,650. That's the only discrepancy here. So we are showing a $42 million profit on this guy. But again, that's paper. We're not. There's no reason for them to roll it. They're flush up with cash. I can show you that also. But just so you know, that's the position. So I do show that down here. Whoop. I am showing the old value. Okay, so let's go get that up here. We had 2 before, so I'm changing this. Okay, so that's 29 additional cents on paper value. Okay, let me make sure the numbers are right in there and what the values are. What did they close at? Nope, I need to update that. So this number is 41. Sorry about this, guys. Probably will come back to the same number I already had summed up. But it's good for you to see some of this kind of stuff. Okay. So it's actually, again, there'll be a net, right? Because they paid some, etc. But I typically just show, since it's not closed, the whole amount that it's ahead of the game, right? So now we're up to 83 million on that number. And I thought that was closer to what I had in my other data. Yeah, there's the 83 million. So I've got it where we only have one active, and that's a 57 cents. So here's my summary, guys. And again, I'm going to do it after tomorrow. And then what I'll do is just on Sunday, I'll give my estimate. I'm not going to do another accounting on Saturday and what happened on Friday. You'll see that when I do Group C estimates. But this is fabulous, guys. There's just no disputing any of this. Again, is Yieldmax going to come through? We shall all see as customers. If not, vote with your feet. Go where you're treated the best. I don't think they're going to disappoint us, guys. I'm not faithful because I'm never faithful to anything. It's just my money and I'm going to go where I'm treated the best, right? I like Yieldmax, but I don't like some of the things they do, and I'll call them out on it anytime I see it, right? And so far, the behavior is good. The ultimate test is, do they pay us? So there's $2.97 collected here. The weekly's cumulative now with yesterday's edition, it's $1.12. Okay. The only thing that could happen is we run by up to 440. Okay. And this gets increased because they do have to buy back those first four, the 410, 415, I think 405, 410, 415, and 420. Could those hurt us there? Yes. Would our paper value continue to go up on the synthetic as much or more? Absolutely, because half of the calls written are already into next week. So, in my opinion, this is an easy slam dunk $1 plus when they have 185 net in the door. So even if they go out and lose 20 cents, which is probably all that would be, that'd be like 40 million. Right? It'd be 25 cents. They still got $1.60 this month in the accounting cycle in the door. So Yieldmax, you don't listen to me, but you listen to the movement of my subscribers and my viewers and so forth. And I think everyone would be disappointed. Of course, there's some people that if they paid 60 cents, they'd go, oh, that's up from last time because what did they pay? 53, 54. I was disappointed then, right? What was the price? 961. Well, where are we now? Okay. The yield went up fractionally on a day. We're up at 65.20 from 65 even. Yeah, is 1031 the right price? Why am I, let me go. No, I think it's 70. Cony. I tell you, so many numbers. No, 1031's right. I thought I went out and got it, but you know. All right, guys. So that's what I got for you. The accounting is the accounting, and I'm accounting for everything. How's that for a series of puns? All right, this is old up here on the insurance, and I might as well clean that out. I don't want to confuse anybody. I just brought it down here and wanted to show you the daily change. Yes, we lost 13 cents. We could lose if it ran to 440, 25 cents here. But is that going to impact that? Well, you'll find out in my estimate. But at a 1031 paying $1, that's healthy, guys. That is a healthy return. And Yieldmax, you better pay the money. Okay, guys, this is Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. But I'm excited. I want to see something positive happen here. I hope y'all are too. All right, guys, bye for now.